Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Caroline Marriott.
And I'm Star Eisenberg.
In international news, President Trump has issued an ultimatum to all NATO nations. He says he will apply major sanctions on Russia, but only when all NATO nations start applying their own sanctions and stop buying oil from Russia. He says that buying Russian oil greatly weakens their negotiating position and bargaining power. He also demands that NATO nations apply larger tariffs on China, as China is one of the biggest buyers of Russian oil. Trump says the war in Ukraine would end quickly and thousands of lives would be saved if all NATO nations get on board. He says, "I'm ready to go when you are, just say when."
Israel is intensifying its war in Gaza, launching a major ground offensive on Gaza City. The move comes despite international criticism and protests from families of hostages held by Hamas. An independent United Nations inquiry concluded that Israel has committed genocide against Palestinians in Gaza, which the UN calls its strongest finding to date. Gaza's health ministry says the Palestinian death toll in the Israel-Hamas war has passed 65,000.
Thousands of protesters continue to gather weekly at Hostages Square in Tel Aviv to pressure the Israeli government to end its war with Hamas and to secure the immediate release of all remaining hostages in Gaza. Last week, protesters held up a large banner saying, "Netanyahu, stop deceiving President Trump." Earlier this month, the banner said, "President Trump, save the hostages now." The U.S. Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, has concluded his visit to Jerusalem, where he met with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu and Israeli President Herzog. Rubio was showing Israel support in their endeavor to eliminate Hamas from Gaza City. Rubio also visited Doha in Qatar to try and help defuse tensions after Israel bombed Qatar, which is an American ally.
In national news, House Speaker Mike Johnson is working to calm lawmakers' nerves following the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Johnson says members of Congress are experiencing anger, sadness, and fear. He says steps are being taken to protect lawmakers' safety and bipartisan moments of reflection and prayer happening across Capitol Hill. Johnson added that his good friend Charlie wouldn't want anyone to despair, but to move forward boldly and in love.
The Trump administration has suspended funding for PEPFAR, which is the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief. Since 2003, the program has supported more than 50 countries and has saved over 26 million lives. Congress allocated $6 billion for this fiscal year, but the Trump administration has only released $2.9 billion. International organizations say that critical HIV prevention and treatment has halted for many patients. The future of the program is currently uncertain.
Scientists in Australia have approved a vaccine to protect koalas from chlamydia, a disease that can cause blindness, infertility, and can result in death. Chlamydia affects up to 70% of the koala population. The single-dose vaccine, which took more than a decade to develop, has been shown to reduce infection and, in some cases, even reverse symptoms. The vaccine has been tested on hundreds of wild and captive koalas, and officials hope it will slow the spread of the disease among one of Australia's most well-known animals.
The FAA has proposed fining Boeing aircrafts more than $3 million for safety violations that occurred between September 2023 and February 2024. These include actions related to the Alaska Airlines incident, which saw a door panel come loose mid-flight. The agency says that they identified hundreds of quality system violations at two factories and that two of the aircrafts that Boeing presented for airworthiness certificates failed the quality system check. Boeing has 30 days to respond to the agency.
TikTok will remain online for U.S. users. President Donald Trump said he and Chinese President Xi Jinping reached a deal last week on the future of TikTok's U.S. operations. The agreement is said to involve a group of American investors and would give U.S. authorities oversight of the platform's algorithm and user data. The announcement follows a years-long effort to address questions about TikTok's presence in the U.S. White House officials say the deal is expected to be signed in the coming days.
In California news, state lawmakers have passed a new bill called No Secret Police Act, which will ban local and federal law enforcement officers from wearing masks during operations. The goal of the bill is to increase transparency, which will hopefully decrease fear. The bill has been sent to Governor Newsom's desk for final approval. Once signed, immigration agents will no longer be able to hide their identity during raids in California.
A California woman is suing Uber after a driver allegedly left her in a remote area, leading to a sexual assault. The 23-year-old says she called an Uber earlier this year to get home from a concert. She claims the driver forced her out after she vomited, leaving her without her phone or a way to call for help. Strangers reportedly offered her a ride and took her to an apartment where she was assaulted at knife point. Her attorneys say the company profits from intoxicated passengers while promoting rides as safe. Uber says it cannot comment on pending litigation, but is committed to passenger safety.
In local news, our reporter Eva Preciado stopped by downtown LA to see what's spinning in the community.
For just one day, cars step aside and the streets open up, creating spaces for walking, skating, biking, and connecting with the city of Los Angeles. CicLAvia helps showcase what our city could look like with cleaner air and safer streets. CicLAvia is a nonprofit organization that transforms streets across Los Angeles into safe, car-free spaces for a day. But CicLAvia is also about building a sustainable future. The organization highlights the environmental benefits of reducing vehicle traffic.
First of all, they're encouraging you to get on your bike and be active. They're also encouraging you to leave that gas guzzler at home and protect the environment.
By bringing CicLAvia to these neighborhoods, residents get to experience their own streets in a new way.
We live in the same, area. Yes, some are in mid-city, some are in, South LA, East LA. We're just part of LA, and I think we need to join forces.
For South LA, it means highlighting the culture, history, and businesses that make this community unique.
Central is historical. It's historical for jazz and being a prominent African American or black community for a very long time, actually. And then even next week is going to be the jazz concert. Come on out and enjoy the free festivities and music.
CicLAvia shows us what's possible when a city chooses sustainability. It is also a reminder of the beautiful culture surrounding Los Angeles. Reporting from South Los Angeles, I'm Eva Preciado, Valley View News.
When we return, new flavors from your favorite food companies are coming and going.
And see which food manufacturer is putting out a recall on some of their signature products. We'll be right back after the break.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Welcome back to Valley View News. Star, as you know, spooky season is nearly upon us.
I know, Caroline. I'm so excited. I cannot wait for all the fall decor and tasty treats.
Well, I have just the thing for you. Those who love all things Halloween may want to get themselves down to the Home Depot. The store is selling a limited edition Halloween bucket for $3. As the bucket has gone viral on social media, stock has been running low and it's turned into a bit of a trick or treat. Will you be one of the lucky ones to find a bucket or not?
Aston Martin is taking luxury to the nursery with a high-end baby stroller. Partnering with the child car seat brand Egg, the stroller mirrors the design of the automaker's cars, including seat-inspired harnesses and logos. Built on Egg's Egg 3 model, it offers features like adjustable seats, a large canopy, and storage. Available in white, gray, or Aston Martin Racing Green, the stroller starts at over $3,000 and will debut later this year.
Following numerous reports of allergic reactions, Gooder Foods has recalled 2 of its popular boxed mac and cheese products. Vegan is believing may contain milk and Here Comes the Truffle may contain cashews, neither which is stated on the packaging. The recalled lots were sold between April 29th and August 5th. If you have bought either of these products, the company recommends returning them to the same store for a refund. Now, for the Girl Scout cookie lovers out there, a new flavor called Exploramores is being added to the lineup and will be available January 2026. Girl Scout USA describes the new cookie as being inspired by Rocky Road ice cream. It will have chocolate, marshmallow, and toasted almond cream. Sadly, however, 2 current flavors, S'mores and Toast J, are on their way out and are going to be completely gone by the end of 2025.
Van Leeuwen Ice Cream and Carnival Cruise Line are bringing summer to a scoop near you with a sunscreen-flavored ice cream. The flavor is designed as a nod to summer's signature scent and aims to tackle what Carnival calls the end-of-summer scaries. While it isn't currently available for purchase, the company says if the social media buzz is strong enough, it could get a limited release. Those who have sampled it say it tastes like eating vacation.
Speaking of tasty treats, our reporter Leah Woodbury has the latest on one of LA's most affordable food markets.
Little Tokyo Farmers Market opened last month, with their new launch marking a community gathering space at a time where food access is limited and food prices are continually rising. The market features locally grown produce and handcrafted goods. For the first time in years, Little Tokyo residents are able to gather and shop for fresh fruits and vegetables. Multiple vendors offer their goods at this market. Food Access LA, a nonprofit organization, helps fund the food that is sold and utilizes a program that gives back double the amount of what the customer spends.
Food Access LA actually is helping the community by accepting food stamps and WIC. The Market Match program basically helps people with EBT and WIC because no other farmers market in Los Angeles accepts these benefits.
Many members of the community benefit from these resources. An attendee of the event believes that this is just what the community needed.
I think the favorite part is just coming out and sitting down and seeing people come out of their apartments, seeing people that you might see passing on the street, and at least just saying hi, hello, how are you?
The market will be open every Saturday from now through December. Grab your fresh produce while you can. Reporting from Little Tokyo, Leah Woodbury, Valley View News.
When we come back, we'll take a look at the latest scoop in entertainment.
Comic book fans rejoice. The biggest event of the year is almost here.
Bachelor Nation, get ready for the newest season.
And the latest movie releases are dropping soon.
We'll be right back after the break.
In 4 days. There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children. She didn't know what to do.
Did you have a good day at school?
She gave them some broth without any bread.
There you go.
And kissed them all soundly.
Night-night.
Good night. And put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back to Valley View News. Let's check in with our entertainment reporter, Sunny Silverstein. Sunny, what's the latest in showbiz?
There is a ton going on in the world of entertainment right now, and in LA, we're here at the epicenter of it all. The first day of Los Angeles Comic-Con is here. The 3-day-long gathering takes place at the Convention Center with an expected 125,000 attendees. This year's Comic-Con features immersive exhibits, a massive gaming hall, and a National Cosplayers Championship with a first-place prize of $25,000. This year's event is leveling up with special guests, including Matthew Lillard and Elizabeth Olsen. Speaking of some big names in Hollywood, the new Bachelorette has been announced, and for many, it's a familiar face. Taylor Frankie Paul starred on the reality show Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and now she's becoming the first Bachelorette in history who didn't start as a contestant on the show, and the first star to have a criminal record. In more news for the Bachelor Nation, The Golden Bachelor released the premiere episode of Season 2 on Wednesday. Retired NFL linebacker Mel Owens is the new star of the iconic dating show, featuring a cast of older women, with the oldest being 77. Episodes will continue to air on Hulu every Wednesday. And primetime surprises don't stop there. One of television's most famous hosts, Ryan Seacrest, is a new face on this season of Celebrity Wheel of Fortune. He'll be taking over the iconic role of Pat Sajak as he joins the show's longtime co-host, Vanna White. The first episode of the season spins into action tonight on ABC. And it's not all about glitz and glamour in Hollywood. The entertainment industry can also be a platform for celebrities to take a stand for what they believe in. After a group of nearly 4,000 actors and directors signed a pledge to no longer work with Israeli film institutions, popular streaming service Paramount announced its disagreement with the pledge, stating they will not silence individual creative artists based on their nationality. Paramount is the first media conglomerate to speak out against the pledge, which features signatures from huge celebrities like Emma Stone, Joaquin Phoenix, and Mark Ruffalo. A lot is going on behind the scenes in Hollywood, but the show must go on. Movie fanatics have endless choices to pick from this weekend, as a ton of new films are hitting the big screen. If you're looking for a good scream, this weekend's release has you covered. Horror movie sequel The Strangers Chapter 2 comes out this Friday. For action lovers, One battle after another attacks theaters this weekend, featuring top-tier talent like Leonardo DiCaprio and Tiana Taylor. This action comedy surrounds a group of ex-revolutionaries trying to save a little girl as they face their troubled past. Scarlett Johansson's directorial debut, Eleanor the Great, also airs this weekend. This indie comedy focused on the art of storytelling will be playing in select theaters across the nation. That's all for the latest buzz and entertainment. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Sunny. It seems like there are quite a few things to look forward to. Stay with us. We'll have more in weather and sports after the break.
Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. 2 milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
Welcome back. Are we expecting more heat this week? Caroline, have you been enjoying the heat?
To be honest, not at all. I don't really like the heat. How about you, Star?
You're not alone. Maybe Leah Woodbury has some relief for us. Hi, Leah.
Hi, Leah.
Hi. Yes, this forecast this week looks like things are starting to cool down. Starting off with the San Fernando Valley, highs for the week will begin in the low 80s and cool down further to the low 70s. Lows will remain in the low 60s. Heading to downtown, the clouds will start to roll in this weekend and the highs will stay in the mid to low 70s through the week. The evening lows will be in the high to mid 60s. Moving over to the beaches, there won't be much sun out this week. The weekend will start in the high 60s, transitioning into the low 70s, then will drop back down to the high 60s near the end of the week. The lows will be in the high to mid 60s. Finally, for the Inland Empire, things are starting to heat up again, so now would be the perfect time to pull out those sunglasses. The weekend will be in the mid-80s, and the week will kick off in the low 80s, ending in the high 70s. The lows for the week will stay in the low to mid-60s. That's our weather forecast. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Leah. Football season is underway, and the MLB playoffs are about to get started. Let's hear from Eva Preciado with more details.
October baseball is around the corner for the Dodgers as they're in their final stretch of the 2025 season. The Dodgers are in the wild card mix as they currently hold the 3rd seed. The wild card begins next Tuesday as they are currently expected to face off with the New York Mets or Cincinnati Reds having home field advantage. Their NL West rival, the San Diego Padres, are expected to travel to Chicago to take on the Cubs. And in the American League, the Blue Jays set the tone in the East as they hold the number 1 seed. The Mariners and Astros are head-to-head for the American League West Division. And in the wild card, New York and Boston hold the 2 spots with just 1 spot left to take. Week 4 kicks off with an NFC West showdown as the Seahawks head to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. The Chargers will be in New York to take on Russell Wilson and the Giants. And the Rams will be in Indianapolis to face a new and improved Colts team. And the NFL is going across seas as the Vikings and Steelers will play the first ever game in Dublin, Ireland. An AFC Championship rematch has many excited as the Ravens and Chiefs go head-to-head for what could be a shootout, giving the Chiefs an opportunity to bounce back in a competitive AFC West. And on Sunday night, Green Bay cruises into Arlington as it will be Michael Parsons' first game against his former team. An SEC clash between 2 iconic rivals is underway this weekend. The Georgia Bulldogs, with an explosive defense and offense, is looking to protect their home field, while Alabama is looking to send a message on the road. USC heads to Illinois for a Big Ten showdown. The Trojans are in second place in the conference with an explosive offense under Lincoln Riley. A top 25 clash between number 2 ranked Penn State and Oregon will test both defenses as a win can boost their playoff chances early on. The 2025 NBA season is underway with preseason as it begins next Thursday. All teams will play about 5 to 6 games each. The Lakers open up the schedule against the Phoenix Suns over the offseason. The Lakers signed Luka Doncic to a 3-year contract with the player option in 2028. They also signed veteran guard Marcus Smart on a 2-year deal. That's all I have for sports. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Eva. Our reporter Devlin Jimenez sat down with CicLAvia Executive Director Romel Pascual to highlight the initiative's impact on the greater Los Angeles area.
Thank you, Star. And welcome, Ramel. Good morning. How have you
Morning.
been?
I've been well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So we heard a little bit about your organization, CicLAvia, from our reporter, Eva Preciado. But tell us a little bit about the origins of CicLAvia and how it made its way over to Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's a very good story. You think about cars, you think about traffic, and the first city that comes to mind is Los Angeles, right? It's a car-centric, car capital of the country. Some may argue it's got the most congested traffic, right? And we all know that. We spend some time, too much time sometimes, behind our steering wheel, a little bit frustrated. And so, imagine back in 2008, 2009 timeframe, where the economy wasn't doing so well. It was a recession during that time. And the city of Bogota does what's called a CicLAvia, which today it's about 50 years old. And they do it every Sunday. And it's about 85 miles. We had a group of Angelinos, folks who lived in LA, bike enthusiasts, community advocates, who went down to Bogota and participated in CicLAvia and thought, wouldn't it be great to bring it to Los Angeles, closing streets in LA? And the co-founders, there were about half a dozen of them, came back from Bogota, began to meet. This is 08, 09 timeframe, and decided that it was good to meet with City Hall. Anytime you close down streets, you can't just do it and hope that things will go well. And they met with City Hall and with folks in the mayor's office. I was one of them. I was eventually the deputy mayor of Los Angeles, and I remember the group of folks coming into the office and saying, we want to do CicLAvia similar to Bogota. And I remember thinking, well, what is that? And they're saying, we're going to close down streets. And mind you, I was deputy mayor for energy and environment and sustainability, so all this stuff, made sense at the time. But it was also a time where congestion was still at its height. And to close streets, to close miles and miles of streets in Los Angeles, you first have to ask the question is, why? Why do you want to do this, right? And, we took a leap, and this was during the Mayor Villaraigosa days, and took the leap, and we said, yeah, let's do it. Let's try it as a one-off. And, frankly, we thought of it as an experiment, a happy experiment, if you think of, thinking back on it. And that day, on October 10th, 2010, 10/10/10, was the first CicLAvia. And I remember the night before wondering if people will show up. The city, the different departments, the advocates, CicLAvia as an organization at the time, all worked really hard to pull off a 7.5 mile route in downtown called the Heart of LA. And that night before, you think about, well, are folks going to show up, right? Imagine this was pre social media days, right? It was, Instagram wasn't quite there yet. And so the communication across social media platforms was very limited. And walking onto the streets right in front of City Hall, because there was a press conference to launch it, I kind of looked around, and it was almost breathtaking, right? Because you saw thousands of people on bikes, thousands of people walking with families, and there was that magical moment. I remember, looking out and just getting chills. I still get chills when I think about it. How did these people find out? Why are they here? How long will they be here? What will the outcome be? And throughout the day, it was a 6-hour day. What you began to hear were conversations, right? You began to hear conversations of people just saying hello. You don't hear the car engine noises. You don't hear honking. You hear bike bells. You hear kids laughing in the background. You hear, the screeching of brakes on a bike that you probably haven't ridden in 3 years, but CicLAvia at that time made you bring it. And there was this almost silence in the air that was filled with these sounds of, the best way I can explain it is, you think about what would a joyful street in Los Angeles sound like, and you think, well, does it have cars on it? No, it's got people on it. And the LA Times at the time reported 100,000 people showed up.
Wow.
And I thought, there are probably more bikes here than there are cars, right? Than, or folks owning bikes probably surpasses those who own cars because, bikes' footprints are really small. So that's the origins of it. A group of very smart, dedicated Angelinos went to Bogota, came back up, borrowed the idea of open streets, and then here we are 15 years later.
Amazing, amazing. How do you think these open street events create a sense of community in the areas that they take place?
Well, community certainly is just, you think about the built environment, and you think about the people. LA is a city that is made up of more than 120 neighborhoods, right? From Hollywood, Venice, to Eagle Rock, to Highland Park, to Watts, to South LA. And, one of the first questions I think that we Angelinos have if we meet folks are usually, which part of town are you in, right? And so it's, I'm in Hollywood, I'm in, I'm in Glassell Park. The sense of place is very much an LA thing. And any CicLAvia event that we do, 5 miles, 6 miles, 8 miles, 2 miles, we go through multiple communities. And you realize how connected we are outside of a car in a very short amount of distance. Right? You can be at the Heart of LA route, which will happen on October 12th, 6.5 miles of streets, probably 8 separate neighborhoods, right? Boyle Heights, Arts District, Chinatown, Little Tokyo, Civic Center, Historic Theater District, MacArthur Park, Westlake. You can just keep on going down, and it's literally connected by 6.5 miles of streets. And what CicLAvia does is it makes what we see as LA, which is 500 square miles of 120 or more neighborhoods, a lot more compact, a lot more manageable in a space of LA and LA County that makes us feel unmanageable when we're in a car.
Gotcha.
So I think there's some level of community connection through manageability of streets. And I think that's what it does. That's how it builds community. It makes you not just go from point A to point B as a destination point. When you're walking, when you're on a bike, when you're on a skateboard, you don't look straight ahead as much as you also do left and right. And as you look left and right, you begin to see these local gems that you probably just passed.
Yeah.
And so you build community by not just rediscovering your place, but also thinking about the people in that place, in that place.
Awesome. Well, I think that's all the time we're going to have for today. I really appreciate you stopping by, Romel. It was great to hear about the positive impact that CicLAvia has on not just the environment, but on the community as well.
Thank you.
Awesome. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Devlin, and thanks to all of you for watching. I'm Star Eisenberg.
And I'm Caroline Marriott. For updates, be sure to follow our YouTube channel and Instagram page at Valley View News CSUN. Goodbye for now.